Now, this is one of the best fights I have ever seen, and I'll leave the link below to the full video, and if you stick around to the end, I show this again in slow motion so you can see it a bit better. But these guys are quite incredible. You see, the gorilla has got a very similar body structure to us humans. But the main difference, of course, is the gorilla has shorter legs, longer arms. We've got longer legs and shorter arms. But the structure, we want the same body structure. Essentially, the spine should be the same power in the hips and the same power in the shoulders. And in the ancient Kung Fu styles, there was a Kung Fu style called Monkey Kung Fu. And even in that, they had a monkey that's like a gorilla, a big monkey. So they acknowledged that this was an important thing to do. But on my channel here, I talk about this all the time. I'm looking for the optimum body structure. What is the natural position of our body? And it's like this. This I call the neutral stance. It's that gorilla stance. And here now you see me levering forward. It's very much like a gorilla. And I'm just trying to hold this spine, hold the backwards arch in the spine, hold the belly tight. I've got a slight backward projection of the hips and the shoulders. The shoulders are up and back. And from that spine and those hips and shoulders, I start to generate movement. I'm shuffling my feet are light, and I'm just extending my arms. You see, I'm starting to fight. It's not real fighting, very, very careful fighting. What I'm working on is the spine, the hips and the shoulders, and trying to synchronize the movement, using the whole body working together. And it allows me to go up and down, left and right, forward and backwards. All movements can be generated from this mid position, this neutral stance. You see, it's levered forward, but levering from the hips. I've still got a backwards arch. And when you lever forward, it gets closer to wrestling. Remember, this has got to be mixed martial arts, MMA, a complete fighting style. And now you can see this is very similar to big monkey kung fu. They hold the arms up like this, and they're taking a lot of power in the hips and the shoulders, just swinging. And again, when you see this video of the gorillas in slow motion in a minute, you'll see how they just swing. You're swinging the arms. The arms and the legs are actually quite loose. They're quite relaxed. The work is done in holding the spine and twisting left and right, creating an isometric tension, a resistance, a spring in the spine. You're spring loading the spine and bouncing. You're bouncing in the legs and bouncing in the arms. But the secret is to keep a backwards projection of the hips and a backward projection of the shoulders, because if you extend them forward, you're going to the limit. You're going to the limit of your movement, and then you can't go any further. Now here you can see I'm levering a bit further now, levering way down forward. A gorilla now would be touching the floor with his hands, but this is wrestling. This is when you drop down into the sprawl. So you need this for wrestling. You need to be able to slip right down to get to a very powerful structure low on the ground. So one hand up, just able to skip the legs out. But notice the backwards arch in the spine. I'm still trying to keep the exact same neutral spine. Again, up, down, left, right, high or low, on the ground or standing up, jumping in the air. You want to keep this optimum position, always springing back to the neutral position, the neutral spine or the neutral stance. You see all these varied movements. Essentially, it's all the same thing. I've got to feel it. I've got to feel inside my body the spinal alignment. And remember, the key is in holding the belly in tight, holding the rib cage a little bit open, tilted upwards. The sternum tilts up. You've got an open chest. You see that in the gorillas. They've always got this backwards arch. Their spine is very, very strong. Their legs squat down like a sumo wrestler. Their legs are squat. You see the knees are apart. They're open. They've got an opening in the hips at the front, but they're also projecting their hips backwards. So what does that do? That creates a stretch. There is a stretch in the hip joints and a stretch in the shoulder joints. This allows greater mobility and an elastic recoil. And here you can see how I'm just swinging the arms around a bit loose, like a gorilla. And this creates whips. This is very, very advanced. They're whips. A whip from the spine flows out through the shoulder. Now have a look at these guys in slow motion. Notice the spine, the hips and the shoulders. You see when they lean their hands on the floor, the shoulders go back a bit. They're in the midpoint. They don't project their shoulders all the way forward. Now here you can see both. Very powerful force coming forward. He drops into a low stance, a sumo squat to hold his structure. He doesn't fall over. One pushed him, the other guy, but he just held his stance. Now you see they're fighting, battling. He falls forward. Okay, he may fall forward. The other guy is trying to get him in a choke, but the other one slips out. You can see it's MMA. This is wrestling and boxing. But notice the hips, the knees apart in a sumo position. The arms are loose. They're flinging out the arms. The legs move about, so they're adjusting their structure. They're often horizontal or 1 foot forward. So again, you've got boxing and you've got wrestling. And there you saw that last strike, the arm was loose. They don't have a fist. The fingers are actually loose so that they can whip out. And you see that guy here drives himself in, drives in from the squat position, the hips and the spine, and the other guy jumped back from the squat position, the sumo squat, and the power in the hips and the shoulders. So this is what I'm working on this channel, the neutral stance, the wild man position, because we're not a gorilla, we're a man, we've got a human form, so we need to find the optimum wild position, this most efficient way of using our body. So thank you very much for watching, and please do check out my Wild Man Kung Fu series. I'll leave the link here for that, in which I go into this in a little bit more detail. But thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in one of these other videos here.